Alrighty. How is everybody doing?
Good, good.
Oh wow, that was fast. Enrique is running a little bit behind. He should be here soon. But as is, I think we've got everybody else. Okay. Alright, so where is everybody at with leveling up?
I'm still doing mine.
Okay.
I just need to type it in. I know what I'm doing.
Sweet.
I for the most part know what I'm doing. I'm just typing it in as well.
Should probably put a link in the chat for what's it called? For the audience summary.
So it won't let me put in my level 5 spells.
Let me pull up your character sheet and take a look.
I'm just trying to add level 5 so I can just start bringing everything over. Is what I'm trying to do.
So on your shaman screen, Erica, you want to go through and change your known spells, or your spell slots per day. If you look at my screen, I'm sharing it right now so you can see.
Okay, 1 second.
Yep.
Alright.
So you'll want to go in and change your spells known to that. And that, I'm trying to remember, is shaman in here? Yes. So shaman is going to have let's see, 10th level. You're going to be 444-332 spells per day. And what is your wisdom? Is 20. So it's going to be an extra first, second, and third level spell if I recall. Okay, let me actually check. Okay, at a 20, you're getting 2 extra first level spells and then 1 extra all the way up to 5th. So from what you have there, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. That works. Okay, that should let you drop in 5th level spells.
Perfect. You're awesome.
I try. Oh, someone's joining. It's like, why is it running slow for a second? Alrighty. Go. Let us see. How's everybody doing, though?
Pretty good. Chilling with family at the cabin.
That sounds nice.
What's everyone else been up to?
Well,
Not much here.
So yeah, just getting through the week. It's been a busy one. I taught a class yesterday at church for how to live a balanced life, and it was good.
I may need a lesson in that.
It was fun. Went over stress strain diagrams from engineering and tied that into the mentality to have in finding balance. So it was
I figure pursuing a PhD is like the exception to the rule of pursuing a balanced life.
So, on I'll give the super quick rundown. The stress strain curves, you've got the area when there's not much stress involved, and I call that the zone of atrophy. Then there's the zone past what's known as the yield stress, which I call the zone of trauma, where you're going to have like permanent damage and stuff. And then right in the middle is the zone of growth. And I think pursuing a PhD is just deciding to live in the zone of trauma.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. At all. Very unfortunate.
You say that as you wipe the tears away from your face.
That's the real reason Kayla doesn't have her camera on, so that we can't see her crying because of her PhD. But we know. We understand. We get it.
Caught. I've been caught.
Double check if I have this in the... Okay, I do. So a reminder to anyone watching right now, somewhere around halfway through the session we are going to have a bit of a intermission, and if you have any in-character questions for one of the characters, then that is the time to ask it, and then we'll have a bit of a spotlight on them and let them answer that question in character and give us a bit more insight into who they are and what's going on under the hood. Let's see. Make sure I've got everything else ready. And then I'll give a quick recap of last time and we will get moving. I'm going to message Enrique and see if I can get an ETA. But last time, actually, are you guys ready for the recap and then we can get going, or do you need a couple more minutes before that?
I'll be fine.
Okay. Alright, so last time the two groups were about their tasks. Jasper and Prince finished up their encounter with the so-called king, so-called self-proclaimed king of Zelkir, Pietro, as he entertained them in his throne room. He had interrogated them and they him for a short time, and then after they had been satisfied and Jasper had made arrangements with Pietro to meet with one of his underlings at a future date, a week from now, Jasper and Prince left the premises. And as they were doing so, they ran into, or they saw someone approaching that matched the regalia of some of the king's guards, and they assumed that this person was coming from where the real action had been going on, while they had provided a distraction. And they dissuaded that guard from going and speaking to the king immediately. For while they had been distracting the king and his most trusted advisors, the rest of the party, Nomad, Hestia, Tiffany, and Gabriel, had been off trying to find and free Maleth. They had been able to find her, and after a dangerous encounter that nearly ended with a number of deaths, the party had been able to free Maleth and even escape with their lives. They were able to flee the city via the Shadow Plane and arrive closer to where they were to meet the rest of their company, near the old military fort. And so we rejoin the party as they approach the military fort, known to some as Fort Frolic. They bed down for the night within view of the city, uncertain what the morrow brings. But before they went down for the night, there was some role-playing that we need to take care of. So I believe Nomad and Prince, you were having a bit of a conversation about means and methods of keeping yourself secreted in the night. That a good place to pick up, or is there anything that I missed?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm still messing around with things on, but hold on. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. And if you need to take a break from that and finish it up as we are going on when there's a bit of a pause for you, then that's fine.
Okay.
But as I recall, Prince, you were preparing to, how would you say, light a lantern and keep it by your bed throughout the night.
Yes, or keep it outside the tent or wherever that was visible on the outside and someone felt it on themselves to smash them all.
And you mentioned the lanterns to guide the lost souls.
Yes, to guide the lost.
Yeah, the lost agents of Pietro to find us.
I mean, if they're lost.
Well, they certainly won't be with the lantern.
Yes, I know. That is the purpose of it.
To guide Pietro's agents to us. That is the purpose of the lantern.
I think you're being hyper specific.
You just said that's the purpose.
No, I said the purpose is to guide the lost generally. And you are saying that specifically it would guide Pietro's people.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think it's that big of a harm. It's honestly more of a I want to say it's more of a ritual, but I do honestly want to help those who have lost their way for personal reasons.
Way to what?
Wait till what?
Way to what?
I think
They
what
have lost
Nomad
their way.
means to say is if we're going to object to what you're trying to do, we could at least know a little more about it. At least know what we're possibly in disagreement with. Our concerns are safety, and you obviously have your reasons for wanting to do this, so...
Okay. Well, my earliest memory is, or one of my earliest memories is waking up in the outer planes with little idea of who I was or why I was there. And I was told that I was absolved of my crimes and just let free. And I spent years, I don't know how long, honestly, wandering around the outer planes until Ashava, well, one of Ashava's wisp or spirits or guides, I don't really know how to describe it, found me and guided me to Elysium. And it's part of her way, you know. She looks for lost souls, so to speak, and guides them to not being lost. And she doesn't really discriminate between who or what that is. And this is just a sort of reminder or ritual or actually practical way of doing what she believes and what I believe. And it's something that I have promised to do for her every night. Either that or recognize her in other ways. That's all it is. Any
Okay.
questions about it, or are you gonna let me do it?
Go ahead.
And Jasper just kind of like darts up a second, looks at Nomad, like gives him a look that speaks for itself.
I just look tired and not wanting to have an argument.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put out the lantern. Actually, I'm handing it to Jasper. That was originally what I was trying to do. Do you accept the lantern, Jasper?
As I was saying last, you have your deity. I have, well, whatever I have. I think this is a right for you to perform, not for me.
Okay, well, before I go to sleep, I'll put it out next to... It's not a big lantern, and it's not particularly bright. And presumably with prestidigitation, it's only going to last maybe an hour, I think. So... Alright, I'm done.
Okay. Is there anything that anyone else... Actually, wait, hold on. I do have one thing. Malith, I'm sending you a message, and I...
Okay.
This is a question about Malith. Is there anything that anyone else is wanting to ask or do prior?
Jasper would speak with Prince before he goes to bed.
Okay, I'm here.
Well, I just don't know if there's anything else that anything else that would take place prior to you sleeping.
Yeah.
DM, am I free to speak
Oh yeah,
with
go
him?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Prince, before you lie down, I was under the impression that things were going to go a bit differently back there in Pietro's court. You've given me the impression that you wanted to know things about Pietro and his plan, and I felt like there were less questions from you and a lot more of your presumptions and analysis of what he's done, and a lot of your own philosophies shared. So I'm a bit confused as to the change of plan, or was it the plan? What happened?
Well, my perspective is I'm trying to figure out why I'm here. I'm trying to figure out what his goals are here, and how he sees undead, and what sort of world he wants to create, because I'm trying to figure out whether or not what my response to him should be. I don't quite know what, I don't know how I feel about him, and I actually don't know how I feel about what he's doing here. I don't hate the undead. I am trying to, I guess, guide the lost, find a place for them to exist, and if that means them existing, maybe, but I guess that was my goal when I was talking to him, is to figure out, like, you have your goal of, actually, I don't know what your goal is. I know you hate him, and I know you would likely want to see him dead, but for better or worse, he has created a world that is relatively stable, although it seems to be rough around the edges, and I'm a bit hesitant in what a world that he's created would look like without him, or without the structure that he's created. So, I think that you went in thinking that, and this is a presumption of mine, but you went in thinking that the world would just be better off without him. I went in thinking, well, if he suddenly disappeared, there'd be a bunch of random vampires running around the countryside, no government, no structure. It doesn't seem like the Queen is around at all. So I'm a bit lost right now myself, trying to become unlost. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I mean, I would say I think that I understand where you're coming from. You said something. You made an assumption about my goals, and that assumption is correct, or about what I think of Pietro, what I thought would happen in his court, and about what my intentions are with Pietro. Yes, you were correct. And did you figure that was the case even before we walked into his court? In other words, did you learn anything new about my intentions with Pietro?
Well, I did.
That?
You seemed incredibly hasty trying to get to the court with him. And you also, to me, seemed very emotional in relation to it, both before and after. But before, I was under the impression that you, being a powerful wizard who I've seen use fire spells in a room full of creatures that would suffer under fire spells, I thought that you don't seem that preoccupied with your own mortality. You seem as though you you are willing to die if it comes to that. And a powerful wizard with a grudge who is willing to die seems like someone who might do something drastic. And after I got the sense that you have more of an appreciation for your own life, although tentative, than I originally thought. And I also think that you, you have maybe another goal that I don't know, which is good. There's this thing, as we've called it, that you have. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he wants it, but it must be powerful, and you must have some idea of what you want to do with it. And I mean, that's something,
All right.
you know.
Well, okay. So I suppose what raw information as it was just are maybe a bit more trusting of me. But with PH, learn anything really new, anything substantial, we just kind of confirm what we already figured for the most part. What would you say?
You broke up a little bit, but I think you just said that you're asking me if I found out anything new about it, or I just confirmed his what my
confirm what
suspicions
we
were.
already figured. Just from
Well, actually, I thought that Pietro was more concerned with ruling than he actually is. He seems more mega maniacal than actually like a ruler. And I think Zelkir is going to need a ruler. I don't know if the Necromancer has a bigger mind for ruling than Pietro does, or if the Lich, I don't know if there is a Lich, but if there is, I don't know if he has more of a mind for leading than Pietro, but Pietro seems rather petulant to me. That was the impression I got. He did not seem as like
okay.
he is
So-
going to be a good ruler. So I'm not sure that he's a good king for this.
All right. So maybe you trust me a little bit more after that meeting. I
Yes, I
understand
do.
your hesitancy, sure, and you trust Pietro a little less.
Well, I never
After the
trusted
meeting.
Pietro to begin
But-
with. But I don't think that he's right for ruling from what he's shown me. He seems very hot-headed for a ruler.
Well, yes. Now, I think the thing that I'm getting at is the reason why I was hoping, I was practically counting on you asking him questions, because the way that your optimism that maybe there was some good in this government that Pietro was establishing, or something good about his rule, it was my hope that he would entertain you with answers for questions that you would bring to him. Maybe he would find joy in discovering that somebody who, as far as he's aware, I consider an ally, I consider a member of my team, he would maybe find joy in seeing you, persuaded that his side or what he's accomplishing here is perhaps better than what I'm hoping to accomplish here. And maybe he would appreciate seeing a tortured look on my face of, oh no, like maybe Prince really isn't on the same page as me. And all of that would have been acting on my part, because that's what I figured would happen. I figured we'd go in there, and he would entertain your curiosity. And the more you seemed, maybe in agreement with him, the more he would divulge, the more we would learn. And not just that, the more time we would be giving to our allies, who are doing something perhaps even more important, arguably. I mean, I could see you arguing either way, whether information from Pietro is more important than Maleth. I personally think saving our allies is a bit more important. But the thing that I had in mind was we got to save Maleth, and Prince is going to give him all the questions, and I was outright pissed off when our time was too short there. Because, in Pietro's view, you weren't there to learn more, as I had suggested to him you were there for. You were there to philosophize with him, to...
Aren't those the same thing?
You were debating before you even knew full well what he was up to. At least that's how I see it.
Well,
I think what I'm trying to say is, I get it. You've got your own thing that you need to accomplish. I would be surprised if none of us had motives other than what Volcalion sent us here for, to save Zelkir. I mean, I think we've all got something personal at stake here. And that's fine. I don't mean to get in the way of that. But that can't get in the way of saving Maleth, keeping us safe at night. Like, we are a team. We are one cohesive unit, at least we need to be. So I want you to have your way. I want you to be able to do whatever you need to do to be a satisfied team member.
Well, this
But
is what I will
I
say.
can't compromise the mission.
I think maybe it's fate, maybe it's something else. But I think if we had stayed there but a moment's more, and that woman had made it to the court while we were in there, things would have gone very different for the two of us. So
And I give you that. I give you that.
So maybe it was cut short. Maybe it lasted just as long as it needed to. I don't know.
I'm not going to argue with that because that's fair. That is fair. But
Because I don't know if you're a lie. The one, actually, it's not quite a lie. It probably was the truth. But I don't know if it would have worked as well if she had actually made it to the throne room while we were in there. I don't know what we would have said to the two of them or how we would have escaped. We would have become prisoners
well, I don't
ourselves.
think really said. Maybe.
I don't know if he would keep you a prisoner, though. Oh, he still needs that thing that you have.
Exactly.
But I get your point. I shouldn't allow my own... I don't quite know what the goal that we have is here. I don't know if the goal is to kill Pietro. I don't know if the goal is to save this city from the undead, whatever that means. So I think that before we do anything, yes, the safety of our friends is definitely valuable, but what is that safety if we have no clue what we're doing? You know, like, Pietro seems to have the upper hand here, and we need something, more information, or some path forward. And I think that that's probably what we need to focus on the most. And I think that that aligns more with what my goals are than maybe with what your goals are.
And I can understand why you feel that, especially because you're more familiar with your own goals. But perhaps if you find out a little bit more about this little group that we're building, Tiffany is our latest recruit, and maybe you find a bit more about their personal stakes in this broader goal of redeeming Zelkir, saving it, whatever. Perhaps you'll find that there is a balance to strike.
Of course. I don't disagree with compromise and finding common goals. But
You
if
don't sound very happy when you say that.
No, I happy's the wrong word. It's more like
Satisfied.
yes, I'm satisfied with
Hey,
where
guess this game just chimes in.
I'm satisfied. I'm
His
satisfied
tall
with.
dwarf ears picking up on the conversation.
I'm satisfied with with where we are. Well, I do think that I am a bit worried about Malith. I don't know how Malith feels about her extended stay with Pietro, or how she feels about the world. And yes, we do need to figure out the goals of everyone. But you act like you know more about everyone's goals than I do. And it seems to me, since you've been here, you've been going behind people's backs to either protect them, at least ostensibly, from harm, and maybe you need to be more direct with what you want from people and what you need from them and what purpose you think that we are here for. To me, it seems as though what you've accused me of, going after my own desires or machinations without involving myself with the goals of other people around me, is something that you actually do.
That's actually not what I said. You
It's not?
You do what you need to do. No. What I said was you need to make sure that what you do doesn't compromise the mission.
Okay.
But I will take what you said into account, because if it makes me less of a team player, I need to watch myself, right?
Yes, it does make you a bit suspicious, and it seems as though other people in the party, in the group, might be a little suspicious of your behavior as well. But we've stayed up a bit talking
But
about
regarding
this.
what you said about Maleth,
Mm-hmm.
Maleth is good, at least as far as I can observe. I think there's no worry there.
Well, I'm sure she has
despite
good
her,
intent.
her cap-
My worry was never her intention. It was, I don't know how she feels towards Pietro, and that has to be complicated. And if we are thinking about ending Pietro in some way, I don't know. That's all. But
Right.
we've stayed up late talking, and I'm not trying to cut it short in
Good
case you had something else, but yeah.
And Jasper just walks away.
Okay.
Hey, Jasper, are you going to do anything else before you retire for the night?
Gonna sneak stuff into people's bags, sorry.
I guess I'll just dig into my own bag and just like pull out something to read as well.
Okay. Right, you read your thing, and let's see. Hestia and Jasper, both of you, as you sleep, you have a dream. Hestia, let's do yours first. As you close your eyes, you find yourself in a dark, misty room. In the distance, you hear voices. Voices that you recognize. Come. Save us. Help us. We need you. So dark. As you try and walk forward, you find an invisible wall between you and the voices that you're hearing. Scramble as you might, you can't find a way around it. And then you hear a sound of laughter. And the dream ends.
Okay.
Jasper. As you close your eyes, the dream materializes around you. You see before you a large metal door with many intricate locks on it. The locks seem to open before you with no effort on your part. But as they do so, they reveal a room. Inside the room there is a pedestal, and on that pedestal is a skull. The eye sockets of that skull show 2 coins, both emblazoned with your family crest. And you hear a voice. Take it, and see as I see. Hold it, and know what I know. Grasp it, and see where I would have you go. And with that, as you move forward and reach for the skull, the dream fades to black around you, and you wake up.
Jasper wakes up with a loud gasp and quick but deep breathing. Who's on watch?
I believe that first watch, that was going to be you, Nomad?
Yeah.
Go ahead and
I
make
can
a...
take second.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check, Nomad.
Perceptive kind of guy.
Okay. I don't think you will notice what happens next. Alright, Jasper, what do you do?
I cast invisibility.
Okay. Alright, okay, Enrique, you said you'd be second watch. Jasper, I know you said you needed to take off tonight, so is now, you ready? Is that a good place for you?
Ready.
Okay.
Have
Take
fun,
it.
everyone!
Have a good night with your family. Alright, Enrique, or Gabriel, over second
Yes.
watch,
Yes.
go ahead and give me a perception check.
Good thing I leveled up. $22.
During the night, you hear a number of sounds coming from the city. As you turn towards it, you see a flash of lights in the sky, almost like a light display or a light show happening. You can almost hear boisterous cheering and chanting coming from within the city. And then, after a minute, it stops. The lights cease, and all is still again.
I'll write it down in my journal to share with everybody in the morning.
Kayla, can you actually roll a... Actually, no, you're on Maleth. I'm going to make a perception check really quickly for Tiffany.
Yeah,
Wrong
I
thing.
started doing level up stuff,
Yeah, you're
so
good. You're good.
I selected Maleth. I also can't add any new spells to my Fantasy Grounds thing, but I figured that could be settled some other time.
Yeah, I can show you how to do that really quickly, but you'll have to go into your class itself and add the spells per day for that.
Okay, cool.
That's why. Okay. Okay. Let's see, I think that's the only thing that would be happening this night. So I'm not sure who was going to take third watch, but it goes by without a hitch. As you all wake up in the morning, the day seems like every other day. Except it becomes evident very quickly that Jasper is nowhere to be found.
Can I roll like an intelligence roll to see if I noticed if Jasper was there during my watch?
Yeah, go ahead.
I did have a question.
Yeah.
Is Malif like conscious and alive yet, or am I still playing Tiffany?
Malith is beginning to gain consciousness. For now, I
Okay.
will take control of Tiffany. If you have any questions for either Tiffany or for why can I not remember names right now? Charlemagne.
Malith?
Then let me know.
Oh.
Malith, you do begin to rouse this morning. Probably as one of
Okay.
you is going around and checking her. Actually, yeah, as one of you checks her, she'll actually come to. Leave the coma. Okay, is that a nat 20? No, that's an 18 on your intelligence check. Yeah, Gabriel, as you think about it, you don't remember seeing Jasper. You just presumed that he was out doing something because, he doesn't sleep much. But now that you think about it, you didn't actually see him at all during your watch.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, for some reason I thought that he was just like reading or studying spells or whatever, but I didn't see him Jasper at all during my shift. And also, just so you guys know, there seemed to be light explosions in the sky above the city. Type of celebration. While that was going off, people were cheering, and as soon as it stopped, the cheering stopped. It was dead silent. Really weird, but thought I'd let you guys know.
Last night, that happened in the city?
Yeah. Yeah, during my watch.
Explosions in the night sky?
Yeah, like festival lights.
Okay. So there was a party.
Probably, but usually after a festival or party like that, there's dwindling afterwards. People are talking. They're talking with their friends, with their family. They're going back to their homes. But as soon as the lights were done, it was dead silent. Yeah, that's what's weird. Not that they were having a festival, but that as soon as the exploding lights in the sky stopped, everything just went quiet.
Okay. Did you do anything else or investigate anything else? Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Actually,
Okay. Go ahead.
yeah, I want to see if anything has changed in the surrounding area since I went back to sleep after my watch and waking up.
Go ahead and give me, let's see, perception check.
That's just That's a 17 with a natural 1.
Okay. No, I'm not going to do anything with that nat 1. No, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary. It all is as you are fairly certain it was prior. The camp that you have, kept it tight, smoke-free fire, if a fire at all, tight tents, and, keeping yourselves out of sight, and whether there were people around to try and find you or not, you were not disturbed during the night, so there's that. Beyond that, the camp is undisturbed. The only thing out of the ordinary is that Jasper is now missing, though you do notice that Maleth has begun to wake up. At one point, sorry, go ahead, Maleth.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Good. Sorry.
As you're all
I said something,
getting
but I
up,
was muted.
oh, okay. Yeah, as you're all getting up, Charlemagne comes up to each of you that posted watch, and he asks, "Where is Jasper, the wizard? He's usually around by now."
I got up for my watch. I didn't see him. I thought maybe he just went off to read a little bit, study. He does that. But I didn't see him come back by the time my watch ended. I don't know what happened.
I always have an uneasy feeling when he's about. I'm not sure if he's decided to leave us for good or something else, but I suppose we'd better figure out what happened to him, shouldn't we?
I agree.
Suppose we should.
Well, to me it does. There doesn't seem to be like anyone came into the camp, and it doesn't seem like he just walked out. So it seems as though some magic did this, like what took Maleth.
Have we checked around his bed, his tent?
No, we haven't. I'm gonna walk towards the tent, and
Let me guess, you have a way to use perform to make a survival check.
no, I don't. I wish. I wish. So make a
But
survival check. I have a terrible one, so someone else should probably come check this out.
Hestia is our best survivalist. I
Yeah,
can assist.
I will assist. Yeah, I can assist as well.
Okay. Honey, do you think you'd be able to roll my
Yes,
survival check?
I can roll that for
Ooh,
you.
or Gabriel.
Thanks,
Wow.
sweetheart.
33. I'll give her guidance as well.
Yeah. I think Gabriel's gonna have a better survival. Like, let's just go with that. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll use Gabriel's survival with the boost from everybody else. So with a total of a 38. Gabriel, as you get down near his bedroll, you notice everything seems to be messed up, almost as if he got up abruptly and never remade his bed or put things back. His tools are gone, his bag and his spellbook, all of his valuables, though he left behind the things like his bedroll and his covering and such. And as you're looking around, you're able to follow what appear to be footprints as he got up at some point, and the footprints lead away from the camp towards the city. As you're looking at the pacing, you can tell that whatever he was doing, he was going fast, especially considering his leg, or lack thereof. You're surprised at the gap between steps. But as you're kind of walking along, you can tell there's an unevenness to the pacing. Almost as if he's taking a big long step and then having to recuperate, and yet you see no change in his pace, even if the gait is constantly fluctuating. Wherever he was going, whatever he was doing, he was going there, even at great pain, as quickly as he could.
One-legged gate.
Wherever he was going.
And you said.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said he left his spell book and
Nope, he took his
his
spell
stuff
book.
behind.
But what you can tell, and I mean, you know, when he came in, he was riding on his horse. But he didn't leave on his horse, which would mean either he hadn't even taken time to prepare spells yet, or he didn't want to draw attention or something. But whatever it is, he left in a hurry and on foot and stump.
I think he might have been bewitched in his sleep.
Why, what?
Something or someone in that city right there. Because that's exactly where he headed.
He does seem to be a bit of an impetuous person. This isn't the first time he's wandered ahead towards a city.
Okay, so what happened in that courtroom?
I
would like Malith would probably like hear the courtroom and say, "Yeah, I'm curious what's happened in general. How did I get back to you? Besides, where's Jasper?"
What's happened is that you're just getting back to us, and your head probably hurts. So drink this Bloody Mary right here, as Jasper tells us. Go ahead, Jasper.
What?
Oh wait, not Jasper.
What?
Jasper says nothing, for he is not there.
Prince, hold on. Yeah, you're asking me to do what now?
Fill us in.
Oh, right. Okay. So, we get in there, and there are undead guards everywhere. And Jasper and Pietro have a very interesting relationship. They both hate each other. It seems like they both want each other very much unalived. And, not living anymore. And I guess for Pietro, that would mean complete. Anyways, where I'm getting at is that they had a discussion, and I think the only reason why we got out of that court is that he has some object that Pietro wants. He showed a ring. I think it was a ring, and it's hard to really. I don't exactly know what leverage he has against Pietro, but he has something. And that thing that he has is something that Pietro wants desperately. Desperately enough to allow us to walk out. And Jasper seemed incredibly confident that the desire for this thing would keep him safe. But that's what happened. They had an exchange. Pietro tried to confirm whether or not we were telling the truth, which was unsuccessful because I have no idea what they were talking about, and none of his methods worked on Jasper. But that's basically it. So I actually don't know why Jasper would walk off right now, unless it was to go get that thing that he said that he was hiding from Pietro. A great object of power, I guess.
And why would he feel the need to not take us with him?
Well, maybe he doesn't trust us. I don't know. I will tell you this. The impression I got from Pietro was that he would do anything to us, even outside Jasper giving it to him. He doesn't care whether or not Jasper gives it to him or how he receives it. So, and Pietro has been keeping up with us pretty well. So, there's a good chance that maybe Jasper felt as though the party might have been being watched, and that if he tried to go get it with us, it would signal to Pietro where it was. I don't know.
Okay, that's not that bad of a theory. However, or a hypothesis. However, the gate that he was walking, his walk, it seemed like he was trying to hurry as much as he could with his dumb, lurchy leg, and old Limpy was not having a good time walking there. It seemed like he was in a hurry, but he was in pain. He could have used his horse, or he could have, I don't know, found another way, or just walked in a more stable pace.
So I agree with you. I think my theory isn't correct. I think you're right. I think that this was probably more of a emotional endeavor, which I don't know why he would get up in the middle of the night to run towards the city emotionally. But he has been known to do such things. So this is why I was afraid to go to Pietro with him in the first place.
He does fire magic. There were explosions in the night sky.
Do you think maybe he was fighting something that was flying?
So the
Maybe.
footprints, they led back towards the city, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it was for sure the city.
Yeah. We can see the footprints right here.
Guys,
Yes.
I don't know how to say this without seeming crazy, but I'm hearing voices. Like
Really?
Like voices in a dream or voices.
I just heard someone ask me why Jasper was so intrigued by me. I didn't even know Jasper was intrigued by me.
I am going to walk up to Malith and detect magic. What do I get?
Anything unexpected from her? She has a number of magical items on her, but she doesn't appear to be under the effect of any magical effects.
No magical effects. Okay,
Did you recognize the voice?
No.
Do you have anything missing? Before you disappeared, you had some stuff with you. Is there anything of that you have missing?
Taggart, is there anything I have missed?
Okay, sorry, repeat the question.
Gabriel just asked if there's anything missing that was on me before I was taken.
No, there's nothing missing.
I will say, nope. I have everything.
I wonder if that was a sending spell, or maybe someone's watching you.
Would I know if detect magic would pick up a sending spell or a message or something like that?
It probably wouldn't. No, because the aura itself doesn't affect the person.
Okay. Is there...
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm back. My thing stopped letting me hear you for a second. Sorry, what did you say?
I'm just trying to figure out if my character knows any way of discerning, like, any magical means of her hearing these voices. Can I make some sort of knowledge check to at least
Actually,
have
let
a
me
path
let me
forward?
take a step back. You had asked if a message spell or a sending would be picked up by detect magic. I misspoke. Yes, those would be, and you did not pick any of those up.
Okay.
Roll,
All right.
Give me a knowledge. Gosh, what would it be? Knowledge Arcana. Yes, Knowledge Arcana. Let's do that.
Okay. Hold on. I think I can take a 10 on knowledge checks if I'm not as a bard. But let me just confirm that I have it up already. So, yes, at 5th level, bard can take a 10 on any knowledge check. I'll take a 10. What was it? What knowledge was it?
Arcana.
Knowledge Arcana. I have plus 15, so 25.
Okay, some creatures are capable of speaking mind to mind with telepathy. You don't believe that would put off a magical aura, though it is magical in its source.
I mean, I know that, like, Dominate Person does that, doesn't it?
It can.
Would I know that?
It can, however, Dominate Person would also render the person almost an automaton, no longer an automaton, and also would have an aura. You would be able to tell if they were dominated.
Right, you are right. Yes, yes. Okay. But I don't have any knowledge of what kind of creature might be doing this.
There's so many that could be doing it that.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you could find a list, but you don't know all the creatures that could.
Okay. Well, it seems like this is probably being done by some sort of creature.
Yes, some creature indeed. I've been speaking to this entity for the past few minutes. He tells me that his name in our tongue is Eater. Seems to be some sort of friend of Jasper's, or at least somebody who has a vested interest in his survival for some ulterior motives. He told me that Jasper was not under the influence of any, or wasn't under any outside influences. And he said that he seeks his own death.
Jasper seeks his own death, or the Eater seeks his own death?
Jasper seeks his own death.
I suspected as much.
Okay.
He especially reiterated the fact that he is never under any influence. Or never would be, for that matter.
Jasper is unable to be influenced by magical means or by any means.
I'm not sure. Our new
You-
voice is a little
Prince-
cryptic.
Prince, you hear a voice in your head that says, "You could never influence Jasper."
Can I talk
Sorry,
to
let
it?
me say that again. You could never influence Jasper. You can try.
I'm sorry, that's the voice? That's what
Something
the
like
voice
that. It's
sounds like in my head?
It's kind of like it's slightly high pitched.
I absolutely
Sorry.
would not have talked to him in the same tone if I knew that that's what the voice sounded like.
It's not quite like that. Give me a moment to practice a voice really quick to make sure I get the right one that fits what I'm trying to do.
All right, everybody. Start recording.
Every time that
Dagger
I'm trying, it
practicing
starts to
voices.
come out like a zany old man, and that's not right.
Like an
Give me a minute.
old-timey radio person.
I will be back in a minute. You guys can communicate to each other for a moment. I need to go get this voice straight in my mind.
He's like an actor having to go.
I'm
Erica,
like a
go
what?
record him.
An actor having to like take a minute off stage.
No,
Go
well,
ahead,
kind
just
of. Although part of this is because I'm not an actor that I have to do this. So give me a moment.
Intermission.
Intermission. If I mean at this point, if anyone from the audience wants to think of a question to ask any of the party, now is a great time to write it down, and we'll ask it before we continue.
What do you guys want me to do?
Look at me. I am the DM now.
Record Tacker practicing the voice.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Also,
try.
I have to go get a fork, so I'll be back.
Be
I
right
figured
back.
this would be a good time to take a quick break.
Yeah, I'll be back too.
We're going AFK.
I'll be back.
Damn, fine. I'll leave too. We're all just gonna leave. Bye.
Piss off.
Nope. Well, we're doing it right here. Calm down. Never have your wife as a player. She listens to the other party members and does weird, crazy things. Are you guys there? Can you hear me? I guess everyone took intermission to mean the opposite of what I was intending, but that's fine.
I tried, guys.
Did everyone leave? I didn't need that long to get the voice. Gosh, you're gonna make me forget it before everyone comes back.
Maybe you should practice this some more.
I don't know. Should I? Perhaps I can.
You sound like the Joker. Mark Hamill's version.
Maybe. Maybe not. That's for you to decide. Hey, seriously though, is everybody gone, or should I have taken a lot longer to figure out the voice?
I think you can take longer to figure out the voice.
No, I already have it.
Oh,
Okay, fine, I'll go get some chips.
perfect.
Let's see. for when the party gets back, is there anyone in the audience who had any in-character questions for any of the party members?
I'm back.
You're back? I'm back. Maleth and Prince, do we have anything?
So we didn't know how long you would be.
Well, I just
Yeah, I
asked you
tried,
to be
but
fast.
Yeah.
Talk to each other for a minute, because I didn't need a lot of time. I just wanted to try a couple voices out loud without having it be in front of everyone in front of the camera. Because then it would taint your view of this, whatever it is. But, let's see, do we have Prince back yet, or not? Seems like the answer is not. Okay, let's see. Do you guys have any questions for each other? Out of game questions for the in-game character.
Huh. Learning how to use a whip is hard. How did Nomad learn how to use that whip?
On his lovers. Boyfriends. Something
Yikes.
like that. Yeah, Nomad, where did you
Nothing
get
too
these
crazy and
whip?
specific. But he wished something that would let him control more than main. Something that would give him a bit more flexibility in how he went about battles.
That's pretty strategic. That's really smart.
Control is king, as he would say. And there is no better weapon than a whip for control.
Can't really argue with that.
What are Gabriel's reasons for being here? I mean, mainly, specifically. I know he wants to
Like
help out.
Like with the party?
What's his ultimate goal? Besides helping Zelkir, of course, what is he working towards? Or is that just perhaps it?
No, helping Zelkir is a stepstone for him to figure out who he truly is. Because we know he's an Aasimar, but he doesn't know who his parents are. He doesn't know what his true purpose on his material plane is, or mortal life is. Because he's like, well, I'm an Aasimar. I have celestial ancestry. It has to be for a reason, but I don't know what that reason is. And just like, I'm going to share a little more. Just like Erasma helps the dead souls be like, okay, according to your beliefs and to your deeds, you're going to this plane, you're going to that plane, this afterlife, that afterlife. She's helping me figure out where I'm supposed to end up in my mortal life. So it's not that I truly worship Pharasma, it's that she's like, huh, this is an interesting case. I'm going to figure this out with you, and that's why she is a deity that I worship in order for me to get my powers.
I see.
What about Hestia?
Yes.
Same question that Parley asked me.
Yeah, fill us in on some Hestia lore.
What exactly was the question?
What exactly is your ultimate end goal here? Besides helping Zelkir?
Oh, helping my people, finding my family. My husband and my son, they might be dead, but they might not be. And I've been having dreams where they're calling for my help. And so I've been searching for them for years. That's about it.
I've had similar such dreams myself. And I don't think I'll like where they lead.
You usually don't.
Sing Prince.
Yeah, he's in the bathroom. He messaged me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how do you know that?
He messaged me if you get back before I do. Just let them know I'll be there soon.
Okay, well, do we want to dive back into the role-playing, or do you guys want to ask any other questions to each other, out-of-character questions for the characters?
I've
Do so
been
while
curious
watching me
why
sing.
Nomad got Nomad.
Out there that you guys are not you are not obligated to answer with things about your backstory that you do not wish to divulge, but you're also free to say whatever you want, and these are things that the actual other characters do not hear, so up to you.
I mean, you guys have heard my real name before, but I think that question would be better served in character rather than out.
Okay. Cool, I'll save it for another time.
What question happened? I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm back, by the way.
You missed everything. No,
Yeah, Jasper's back now.
All right, we ready to dive back in?
Wait, Jasper's back?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's just pulling your leg out. Okay.
Well, that's like, wow.
So you hear a voice in your mind, Prince. You could never influence Jasper.
Okay. Well, in my mind, I will say, I don't think I need to.
But you couldn't. Nomad, you again hear, well, are we going to find him?
Follow Jasper's footsteps. See what we can find.
Right. They go this way.
Tiffany approaches you all before you begin to leave. It appears that if we're going to go into the city, I believe this is where that vault is at, correct? If none of you
Alright, what vault?
I mean, not
Well,
Tiffany. Maylith is gonna look at Tiffany like, "Who are you?" And then she's gonna look at her like other party members and be like, just to see if anyone answers.
she glances at you, Malek.
we
but
had
doesn't
breakfast at her
respond.
place.
After a moment, Charlemagne responds to Tiffany, "Yes, the Great Vault is here within Fort Frolic. And within that vault there are tools that can help defend my home, my new home, Barrowang." Tiffany nods. I understand from my family that there are certain things within that vault that are also theirs. I hope that I can retrieve those things and keep them as a remembrance of the family that I seem to have lost here in Zalkir. It may be that we all part ways now and we go our separate ways, but perhaps we will see each other again. If you make your way to the vault for your own purposes, then so be it. Otherwise, I wish you safe travels and best of luck in finding your friend Jasper. I think that I was able to gain a level of closure with my family being lost, as I helped you to at least find and free your friend. And she nods towards Maleth. But I am myself more of a wanderer, and I'm not always inclined to staying with people long.
Well, you've been a great help. And, well, I don't speak for the whole group, but at least for my part, if you would like to join us again in the future as we continue this fight, for my part, you're welcome back.
She nods. I appreciate it, Gabriel. It has been a pleasure to cross swords together against your enemies.
Mm.
Perhaps
Well, Blades. I'm not a sword person, but sorry.
she nods and says, "I suppose, God's willing, we may cross paths again. But if not, I wish you luck in your goal to free this land of the undead."
We couldn't have done anything of this without you, Tiffany. I appreciate you casting your lot with us, even if it was for a short time.
She gives you a
If
sly
you ever
grin.
need us again, find us.
Maylith is gonna say thank you for helping them find me. I didn't know you, but I appreciate your help.
Yeah, when I said we couldn't have done any of this without you, I would shoot a glance at Mayleth so she knows that that's what I was referring to.
Tiffany offers you a smile, Nomad, and says, "Till we meet again." She bites her lip for a moment as if thinking, and then says, "I'll be off." And she begins making her way towards the city, towards one of the broken walls. And after not too long, she slips out of sight amongst the foliage and the brush.
Dude, she kind of liked you. I thought no,
She
man.
bit her lip.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's find Jasper.
You hear a voice
There's
in your
Joe.
mind again, Nomad. Yes, let's. You're taking so long talking to each other, when we have something so much more important to do.
Okay, where are you right now? How are you communicating with us?
I am where I need to be.
And that is?
At a safe distance. Now, are we going to
How
go?
far away about?
I will follow you. You needn't worry, Nomad.
We're right here, Nomad.
That's all in his head.
Okay.
Yeah, you still haven't heard anything, Gabriel. And neither have you, Hestia.
Well, anyways, I
weird.
will start heading in the direction of Jasper's footprints.
Yeah,
Maybe
me
he
too.
only talks to crazy people.
That is possibly not wrong.
Okay, you begin making your way following the footprints. It becomes very evident that Jasper did not have the means to scale any of the broken walls or slip into any potentially opened side entrances to the city. He made his way towards the main gate. And as you approach, it looks like you may lose the footprints fairly soon because the amount of traffic on the road, at least the footprints on the road, become very thick as you get to the main gate. You see before you a figure standing just as you saw him the night before, as if greeting those who are coming to the city. The tents and also there's kind of some temporary banisters that are set up that are made to be a bit more stable and permanent, though you can tell that they were originally intended to be temporary, guide people through a short path, probably about 100 feet, to get to the entrance itself. It wouldn't be difficult to go past the barriers, but it is at least set up to direct people in a specific route. And the point that you lose Jasper's footprints is around the point you get to the barriers. It seems like he went across the barriers and into the city.
Right then. Let's go.
Yeah, well, hold on. We shouldn't be... Okay, I'm sorry. Is this Melikar, the city that we're heading back into?
No, this is Fort Frolic.
Okay, that's why I
Sorry.
was so confused.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, sorry, let me give you guys
never mind then.
Let me give you a quick rundown. So, oh gosh, do I still have that? I'm so bad with maps.
I mean, that's all I was confused
Okay.
on.
Yeah, so the city you're at is Fort Frolic. Melkar is, at this point, probably about 20 or 30 miles to the north of you. And I guess to recap, Fort Frolic once was the primary military camp in all of Zelkir. So this is where the army headquarters were stationed, and most military endeavors began and ended here. It is a place, Nomad, that you are quite familiar with.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's go in.
As you approach, or are you going to go past the barriers, or are you going to go around to the directed entrance?
I would like to directly follow Jasper's footsteps. So that's through the barriers, right?
Yep, right through the barriers, and it's not like a hard setup barrier. Kind of like when you have just posts with kind of a rope going between them. It's pretty much something like that. As you cross in and you get up close to the actual gate itself, you hear a whistle right to your side, and you look and see Charlemagne as he is looking at the city now, as you can kind of get a view of the inside, and he says, So much has changed in such a short time. It's been only a year, but gods, I don't know what to think. Whew. As you look through the gate, you see one of the most interesting, or no, not interesting, one of the most perplexing scenes that you've ever seen. It seems like a large chunk of the city has been destroyed. You see the occasional house that is burned to the ground, foundations torn up, and yet at the same time you see polished and pristine buildings with signs and activity going between them. You also see people walking around in the streets, some of which appear more at ease than others. But on the whole, the city seems both broken and functional at the same time. Not too far in the distance, you're able to see, probably about a few hundred feet, a few blocks down, there is a very large structure which pokes up above the rest of the buildings. You see at the top of it the flag of Zelkir's army, a flag representing Fort Frolic, and another symbol, another flag, of which none of you are familiar. It is one I'm trying to think of how to describe this. The flag itself shows a wheel with a skull at the center and a serpent intertwined around the spokes of the wheel. Above the wheel is the flag of Zelkir, and written in Draconic below the wheel is the name of Zelkir in Draconic. And actually, let me pull that up so I can say it properly. But it's one that you all recognize from previous conversations. Oh gosh, dang it. Can I back up really quick? I just realized that I forgot to give you guys the message from Vocalion. And it would have happened the night before. Or would you prefer that it just come... Actually, no, I'm just going to say that it comes now. As you're approaching Fort Frolic, Hestia, you receive what you expected to get the night before. You recognize that you're receiving a sending spell from Vocalion. And here is what he says. Investigating caverns. Evading undead. Hundreds of them. Not drawing attention. Saw Lich, accompanied by halfling vampire. They seek what we seek. Right path. Have caution.
I will relay that message.
I'll drop that in the chat so that you can all be able to peruse that if you will. Gabriel, I just saw the thing that you posted in the chat.
Yeah, the
You're
general chat.
I'll
Is that what the barrier is like?
It's similar to that, yeah. I'll put that up so everyone else in chat can see that. It's similar to that, but it's more just a single line, so it's not really set up to do a queue. It's more to just guide people through. Just to stop people from coming in from the side and all enter at one point and go to the city.
Okay.
Alright, so I posted... Did I put that in chat?
I don't think so.
I think it's in character chat. Is where I dropped it.
the message?
Yes, the message
Yeah.
from Vakelian. Do you respond with anything, Hestia?
I'm thinking.
Yep.
Give description of vampire as my. I'm gonna just say this out loud before I send it. Alright, guys, I think I'm gonna say give description of halfling vampire. Do you want us to go where you are? What do you mean by. How do you know they seek what you seek? What we seek? Does that sound good, guys?
Sounds good to me.
Don't believe we need a description. I'm sure that's just Abe. If anything, I would
Alright.
just say halfling vampire, extremely dangerous.
Extremely
Alright.
dangerous.
Is this
I'll
halfling?
say-
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll also say found Maleth.
From Malith,
Yeah,
healthy.
healthy.
Yeah, found
Ish.
healthy Malith.
Did we let him know that Maleth was taken?
You found an alive Maleth.
A Maleth that was unconscious. They brought her somewhere else dead, and then they made her alive.
A re-alived Maleth.
Found Malith. ... Alive.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Hestia, I have a question.
Alright. Bring it on, beautiful.
Could you send another message for me to someone later on? Perhaps when we're less busy? Or is
Yes,
this like
of
a once
course.
a day thing?
I think I could do a sending multiple times. You'd want to make sure it's worthwhile. Let me double check my spell.
Thanks. Like I said, we can wait till we're not that busy or tomorrow or something, but I do need to get a word out.
As
Well,
you're
luckily,
talking
when
about this-
Vocalion
oh.
sends me a sending, I can respond back to him without using mine. So I often have a extra spell anyway.
Okay. Thanks.
So as you're discussing, the city itself seems to pay you no mind. There are people bustling. A few of them notice you, but nobody really reacts to you, except for one person. There is a hawker on the side of the road who calls out, "Welcome visitors, welcome visitors. Come and get your pamphlets here. Welcome visitors, welcome visitors. Pamphlets, pamphlets, information."
But Alexander's proud of this one.
I'm gonna
So are
get one of
these-
those pamphlets.
Yeah, I kind of want to see one of these pamphlets.
It's me too. But also, everyone here looks visibly human, right?
Define
Yeah.
visibly human. Yes. Nobody looks obviously undead that you can see.
Okay.
So who all goes towards the hawker?
I guess we all don't need to go, but I want a pamphlet.
I'll
I'll just
grab a pamphlet for you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I will
Sure,
also
I'll
take
take
a
a
pamphlet.
pamphlet.
Enrique,
Yeah.
as you approach the hawker, your necklace does not vibrate at all. As
You did, boy.
as you approach, the hawker says, I've got... How many pamphlets do you need? I have as many as you need. 1 gold apiece.
I'll get 2.
Um,
I'll get 2 as well.
okay. Go ahead and, either of you, if you want, go ahead and roll an appraise check.
I also said I wanted to get a pamphlet,
'Kay.
but
Yeah.
So we can appraise the pamphlet. Is that what we're doing?
Well, let's get the appraise check, and I want to... Let's see what...
See if it's worth the gold or not. Maybe this guy's pulling
Okay,
our
those
chain.
of you who are actually there, Gabriel,
Oh.
you don't think about it much. Hestia, actually nobody thinks about this much except Hestia. Everybody else, you hand in the gold. Hestia, you pull out your couple pieces of gold and you stop and think. And while as you've become an adventurer, gold has become a lot more easy to come by, the amount that you're paying to purchase 2 pamphlets, which don't look particularly thick, would buy you room and board for a week to a month.
Why are you
In
so
a regular
expensive,
city.
sir?
Prices have gone up in Zelkir. The market
More
is...
than any prices I've
shocked.
ever seen anywhere else.
Well, I'm certain that you've never before had to go to a tourist town in a country that is not only under siege, but in the middle of falling apart. I've got to make ends meet, especially if I need to do any trading with visitors.
How much does it cost you to make a pamphlet?
That's not your concern. Pamphlets are 2 pieces of gold. I appreciate your business.
Well, I'm only going to take 1.
You said it was a gold for a pamphlet.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm only going to take 1. I'm sorry, sir. That's too expensive.
Are you certain? This is how I feed my family, ma'am.
If you can't work with me on price, I'm not going to work with you on that. So.
I'll still take 2.
Have we read the
Yeah.
pamphlets yet?
No?
Malith is gonna Malith is gonna back out of the buying after doing this exchange, but we'll ask Gabriel if she can look at his later. As in the pamphlet.
I'm buying 2, so I'll just
Yeah.
hand you a pamphlet.
Okay, well, thank you.
After everyone leaves except you, Hestia, he quiets down a little bit and says, I'll give you 2 for 1 gold and 5 silver pieces. How's that?
Sounds good.
Much appreciating your business. Thank you, everyone. Visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome to Fort Frolic. The most extravagant and interesting place in all of Zelkir. Welcome, welcome.
I want to just see if he looks to be malnourished or anything.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a heal check.
Oh, sorry, heal.
Actually, I want to do the same.
Yikes.
I will use your first roll, but with your heal bonus, Erica.
Okay.
So that would be a 27 heal, and Gabriel and Hestia, as you're kind of looking at him, his features do certainly appear gaunt, though he has a vigor to him that doesn't strike you as someone who's beaten down. While he looks at least less nourished than what someone would prefer, he doesn't appear to be starving to death. And he's probably just thin compared to average. But yeah, he doesn't have the same beaten down look of the people that you saw in Melkar.
You cut out for me at least.
Yeah,
So
I
what
know
about
you
the
did
people
it
in
for me
Melkar?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not malnourished. He's certainly thin. His face is a little bit gaunt, but he has a vigor to him that you would not expect from someone who's beaten down. Not like what you saw from the people that were living in Malkar. There, they seemed almost like prisoners. Him, while not as taken care of as one might wish, he does not appear to be a slave or a servant or beaten down in any way. At least not visibly.
I'm going to talk to him and say, "You seem like a savvy man.
Yes,
Do you
of course.
I have some food that can do some good to some children if you can hand it out to people who are in need."
His eyes go wide. Food? Yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm going to. It will only last for today. Don't try and save it. I'm gonna give him a good like as many good berries as I can make.
Are you using more than one spell slot to make good berries?
I will use about 2.
Okay, that makes how many good
I
berries
don't
per
know
cast?
if this is the best fellow to give them to.
This is the pamphlet guy we're talking about, right?
Yes, this is the pamphlet
Yes,
guy.
especially after we've just given him plenty of money to buy
So,
as much food as he could
While
possibly need.
this is going on, I'm gonna start to walk up because you guys are taking a bit of time, and she's handing out food. And
Yeah.
who has the pamphlet? Is it you, Hestia?
Hestia
I have one. Gabe
and
has
Gabriel.
2.
No,
Okay.
you got 2 as well, Hestia. Maleth, did you end
Oh,
up buying a
that's true.
pamphlet?
Asked for one of Gabriel's.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to motion to try and see one of these pamphlets.
Well, if you motion, then I'll just open the pamphlet and hold it out so we can both look at it together.
Okay. The front of the pamphlet says, "Welcome to Fort Frolic, monument to all of Zelkier, past, present, and future." And you see on it a list of events, notes of exhibits, and
Exhibits?
yes, you see on there a number of monuments to notable rulers. You see the Hall of Kings is one of the places that you find, and it has a short description. It says, "Come and see the well-known royal families from the past 300 years of Zelkir's history." And as you go down further, oh gosh, one moment. As you go down further, you see something that memorializes the... Why am I drawing a blank? It memorializes a number of notable military actions and notable generals, though there's no names on the list that you recognize. Although there are a few that kind of tickle your memory, Prince. You're not sure why. And as you go further down, there is another thing that says, "Ode to the Dragon." Oh gosh, I forgot to look up the name real quick. Let me go back to my notes. But it says a weekly event that takes place in the night, an ode to the dragon, a memorial to the creator of Zelkir. Why can I not remember where
A
it is?
dragon created Zelkier?
According
I would have known that
yes.
already, wouldn't
Yeah, we've
According
mentioned
to
it before.
legend, yes.
Yeah. So, throughout the city, whenever you see Zelkir, it's replaced by the draconic Zelkier. And then the dragon's name in those same is Zelechar. And yeah, but you can, the script is similar enough that you can tell that it's Zelkir and Zelekar as well.
Well, I think we should check out this museum. We may see some information about me in there. But anyways, continue your bartering. Sorry. This was happening while you guys were doing it.
I'm gonna stop somebody on the street. They're just like a random man that I can stop for a moment. And I'm just gonna say, excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you. I just need a quick spot of information. How are all of you weathering?
Go ahead and roll. Actually, let me roll really quick to see something. Call high or low.
Hi.
Okay. As you approach the person, they turn and they do react to you. So you asked how is it that people here are weathering?
Weathering recent events with the undead.
Well, things here have settled down better than what I hear they are in Melkar, but things are tough. The farms to the south do not have enough food to support everyone here. There have been a number of supply caravans that have come from elsewhere, but they were not willing to venture any further into Zelkir, and they did not bring much in the way of food and that sort of supplies. I've heard that Melkar at least has ample rain and crops, though it is more dangerous for the living. But
It's a bit strange to me that the undead would leave this city untouched. You don't seem particularly defensible either.
I wouldn't say that we're untouched. The great Alexander rules here, though ruling is a loose definition of what he does. He has created much of what surrounds us and enables many here to subsist, and we're allowed to peddle wares and trade freely, though I can't say that he offers us any additional protection. Any who disturb his exhibits are, well, not dealt with kindly. We've all learned now that even if we see food or supplies in an exhibit, they're not to be taken, no matter what. Alexander does not take kindly to anyone who disturbs his memorials. They are to be enjoyed, to be remembered, but not to be disturbed. They are here to preserve what Zelkir is, was, and will be. But it is home, and we're surviving. Your visitors, I presume?
Yes, it's just passing through. So, besides when somebody...
Do you need any...
Yes?
And she looks you up and down. I see that your clothing is ragged and worn. Do you need the work of a seamstress? We sell the nicest and memorial gear for the former army of Zelkir. Can I interest you, or, and she looks over, any of your companions in authentic regalia of the army? Even the Royal Guard?
Is this what Alexander forces you to do? Promote his exhibit? Do you have quotas to meet, perchance? Of gold?
He does not care. He does not care what we do or what goes on in his city, so long as his exhibits are kept pure. Though I would say that he encourages us to assist in his endeavors. Occasionally he will reward those who assist in memorializing his work with gifts, food,
Right?
boons,
So,
but generally he
Other than-
keeps to himself.
okay, so other than when somebody disturbs an exhibit, he is not hostile otherwise. Is that correct?
Hostile? No, he is not hostile.
Does he punish the people that disturb his exhibits himself? Or do people come by and make those arrangements sent by him?
I would rather not say.
I understand.
She wipes at her eyes after a moment. Is there anything else that I can help you with? Perhaps a tunic of the Royal Guard?
Can I hear this?
Yeah, you
I
sorry, go ahead, Nomad.
was gonna say, I would tell her no, but I appreciate your time,
I
and I'll give her a gold piece for
Okay.
the information.
during that last bit where she asked if there's something else, I'm going to walk over. I'm sorry to intrude, but I actually have a question.
Yes.
Were you here last night when the lights above the city? Did you see lights above the city?
She cocks an eyebrow at you. You're speaking of the Ode to Zelkar? The dragon that founded Zelkir?
I guess. We were outside the city and we saw some lights, and I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but yes, that's what I'm asking about.
Every seventh day, there is a celebration of sorts. At points throughout the day, one of the exhibits performs a light show and other things in honor of Zelkar. It is routine.
Who performs these light shows?
I do not know. They are beyond my knowledge or understanding. I must admit I haven't watched any of them in months. They do tend to be, and she quiets for a moment as she says, samey.
Okay. Well, thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. I just wanted to know.
Are you interested in any wares, anything authentic clothing or regalia? I can even make as far back as the second generation behind the queen. She cuts off for a moment and looks around to make sure she's not being overheard. The second generation before Her Majesty. That was, as I recall, about 50 or 60 years ago.
Do I know how far back when I might have been a prince? Do I have any idea of
You don't.
when? Oh, okay. I don't know if it would. Does she have an example of what her wares look like? Are they well done?
Do you ask her?
Oh, right. Well, I was just asking if she had anything around her, but
She was just on the street when Nomad approached her. She was
Yeah, I just stopped her randomly.
yeah.
well, do you have any examples of your work?
I can show
How
you at
well
my
done?
at my stand if you'll follow me. It's just over yonder.
I'll go take a look.
Yeah. So she leads you over in front of so there's the building of military generals and known, just well-known military generals and battles. So it's pretty much just a large, what was probably at one point a training house or a training yard, has been turned into an exhibit of sorts. And, on the front is emblazoned the greatest military minds to grace this world, or to grace the entire world. And, and then beneath that it says, the mighty army of Zelkir. And nearby is a stand. And as she goes up to it, she reaches down and pulls out a basket. And within the basket, there are, a number of tunics and pretty much all either the overguard or the overwear that would be worn by officers, or the under padding and lighter armor that would be worn by soldiers. And so it's always got, the insignia of several of the old versions of the royal family, or the emblazoned on it the insignia of Zelkir, just, a couple of variations on that. All of the colors match the colors of Zelkir's flag and such. So, I mean, it seems to be fairly decent craftsmanship.
Can I do an appraise check to see how authentic it is based on whatever knowledge I have of the history? Oh!
Yeah, you're looking at this, and it occurs to you that clothing is not your forte when it comes to knowledge.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna... I was thinking about... Well, how much... Alright. I'll ask her, how much is, some of your older wares from previous generations?
One moment. Let me double check. So, she says that the regular outfits that are what would be worn by a soldier, so like the gambeson, is going to be somewhere in the realm of about 5 gold pieces. And if you're... Say again?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah. And then some of the more, like the Royal Guard, it's a bit nicer outfit, and you're talking more in the realm of 30 GP.
Alright, it's all military gear, though?
Yes, it's all replica military gear.
I'm gonna give her 10 silver, or 10 gold, but I'm not gonna actually buy anything. I'll hand it to her and tell her thank her for her time.
Okay. She looks at you very confused and says, "Thank you. Thank you. You're sure that you don't want anything?"
No, but I get the feeling like everyone in this town is desperate to please or make money. It seems seems strange, and I just wanted you to know that there are people here that aren't part of what's caught you up in this. And I say it with a tone that's a little low, so that, like, I can't just be generally overheard by everyone.
She looks at you, still confused, and says, "Zalkar bless you. Thank you."
You're welcome. And then I'll head back over to Nomad. I'm not going to say anything, I'm just walking back.
Yeah. As you head back to Nomad, you notice that you get a bit closer to the very large building that seems to be at the center. And it seems to have glass walls and not much that you can see. But it looks like an interesting building. Doesn't look like it's an exhibit. It's just a large glass building. There's a couple of figures that are noticeable standing in the windows themselves that are unmoving. You can't tell if they're mannequins or what, but there's nothing notable about them. Just looks like a human, an orc, and, a few others. And then...
Wait, this is a glass building?
Yeah, so it's like... And it almost seems to be like smoke on the inside, but...
Hold on, alright. Quick, the architecture of this world is like 15th, like, it's not modern, right?
No.
How in the world do they have glass that's standing to support? Okay, anyways.
What do you mean, anyways? Go ahead and roll go ahead and roll a knowledge... What would it be? Knowledge engineering check.
Knowledge engineering. I'll just take a 10. It's a 25.
Okay. That is absolutely unheard of. The fact that...
Yes, it has to be magical.
You're seeing a building that is like the wall, and we're not talking like a glass panel. We're talking the entire building. Like, you can see a couple points where there's supports, but the entire side of the building is just a glass, and it's clear glass. I don't know how much you know about how difficult it is using less modern techniques of making glass, but...
Oh, I do. I know. It's fragile. There's no way that should work.
And making it smooth enough that you can see through it easily, that is very difficult. And the piece that you're seeing here looks to be a single solid piece that, now that you look at it, seems to stretch before it reaches the next pane 20 to 30 feet. And it's about 10 feet tall.
Yeah, that's impossible. That's even close to impossible for what we can do today. But okay.
I'm sorry. What is this exactly? It's a piece of glass that is doing what?
It's a building.
This is a building. The sides of which appear to be almost completely glass. The inside of the building, though, is misty or foggy or something, and you can't really make out details of what's inside. There's... periodically there's a figure almost on display that's unmoving, but there's no signs or writing anywhere on the building.
Anybody I happen to recognize?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Can I just take 20 and look at everybody's face closely?
Yes. You take a moment, and the fog behind seems to be shifting. But as you approach one figure, you notice someone who's shorter, has darker hair, ashen skin. It is a small boy, and he is unmoving. And as you go a step further, you notice a half-orc that you recognize immediately as the fog twists back behind him.
And who would that be?
One moment.
It's your father, Luke.
You immediately recognize Thero.
Thero was not a half-orc, he was an orc.
Oh, he was a full orc?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's not a half-orc, it's a full orc. My bad. You recognize an orc. Thero.
I might have a couple things I want to do. Hold on.
And and everyone here is just standing completely still like a statue.
Yep.
Nomad's just going to sit and be staring at this particular orc for a while. Unless somebody has something to say or do.
I'm going to walk up. I want to do a detect magic on this structure. like a full one, like, the 3
Yep.
round spread.
Go ahead and roll a spellcraft check. The amount of magic that you detect on this structure is staggering. There are easily half a dozen enchantments and transmutations that have been used to create this, both to create, reinforce, and protect this entire structure. As you're kind of looking at this, you can see it's almost as if there's streaks and flecks throughout the glass of magical residue that are embedded within the glass itself, likely as the glass was created and manipulated via magic, that it just, in essence, it held on to that magical energy and it's unable to escape. And so you kind of have this very minor but residual aura from the magic that was used to craft this glass. As you are looking at this now, the amount of structural support and just reinforcement on this, you would be surprised if a battering ram or a siege engine would be able to tear down this wall.
I am going to walk up to Nomad, who is sitting and staring at an orc. Do you know this orc, Nomad?
Where are the rest of you, really quick?
Well, Malith is AFK.
Okay, so other than Malith, Gabriel and Hestia, where are you at?
I guess I'm kind of
I
following
think I
Nomad.
would be with you guys.
Hestia,
Yeah.
the shorter, ashen-faced child, you recognize as well.
Who doth it be?
It is your own flesh and blood.
My eyes go wide.
I would tell Prince without looking to him or looking away from the person. I would say his name was Thero. He was my best friend.
Enrique. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Hestia.
So we can't touch these displays or we're in big trouble.
They are also on the opposite side of this glass.
Okay.
Sorry, one second, Prince. I
Okay.
want Hestia to talk, and then
Yeah.
I have something.
I want
on this.
to
Yeah.
cast Speak with Dead.
That's what I was gonna do.
It has no effect. You're unable to get the magic of the spell to penetrate the glass. Try as you might.
My gosh.
Gabriel.
I'm gonna start pounding on the glass.
Okay. You begin pounding on the glass. Gabriel, your necklace begins to vibrate. And you hear a voice behind you that you recognize. I had wondered when you'd come. I've heard much about you. Much about all of you.
I'm going to spin around, and there's going to be a dagger in my hand.
Okay. Give me just a moment.
Oh God.
Okay. Gosh, I probably should have grabbed this name before I jumped into this.
Can I make
Yes,
a perception
go
check on his vibrating charm?
You would not notice it.
Okay.
But before you is a dwarf. A dwarf that you recognize, Gabriel, as Dagon. And he looks at you. He looks at
Go ahead.
you with not recognition in his eyes, but there is something amiss. He says, "So, what do you think of Fort Frolic?" And he raises his arms and gestures to the city around you. "What do you think of my handiwork?"
Dang, what's going on? Buddy? Buddy, no.
He looks at you, and without
Does he look at me at
reacting-
all?
He doesn't. He looks at you, Gabriel, and says, "Your friend is not here at the moment, but that we can discuss at a later time."
You can discuss it now.
Let him go. Let him go right now.
I did not take hold of him. I simply retrieved and saved him. He came looking for you, but that is another conversation for another time. For now, I wish to know what you think of my memoirs to Zelkier, of the memorials. I've heard from some that you had disturbed something to the north. A great battle that was being memorialized, but I can forgive a little folly. For now you know that all that I do is to preserve, to remember. And that, and he gestures both to himself and even to the figures in the window, is what I do. Remember, and help others to remember.
You're the man who wants everything to never die, aren't you?
The dwarf lets out a low cackle. I suppose that you could describe me as such. I regret that at the moment we will not meet face to face, but for now this will suffice for me to speak to you. I am most certainly Alexander Cohen. And yes, this is my domain, the place where Zelkier never dies. Come.
And yet you've killed it in doing the same thing.
Me? Killed it? No, my dear. No. I have simply saved all that Zelkier was and is. And in the years
Call this
and millennia to
saving.
come, I will save what it shall be. And Gabriel, as you're listening to him, it's Dagon's voice, but it also sounds off. It's wrong, but still his. His accent is gone. So I guess that's really what it comes down to. It's his voice, but his accent is completely gone. If I might be so bold, I would invite you all to a meal. Perhaps we can discuss. I understand that there might be certain memorials that I have that are of interest to you. And
I'm not going to eat with you, or let these people eat with you, until you give me back my son right there.
If you want your son and your husband, then I would propose an exchange. Help me in preserving parts of Zelkier and of the recent liberation, and I will give you back what you seek. Help me, and I will give you back the bodies of those that you love,
But not the
preserved as
souls.
they are.
Not the souls?
You presume that I have their souls as well?
I do.
The dwarf smiles. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. And that is where we will end tonight. What was that, Gabriel?
Jeez, man. I've been thinking more about the backstory, what Gabriel and Dagon's backstory would be. This hurts, man. This hurts.
I'm about to murder him. I
You
know
can't
I
hurt
could.
Dagon's body. Don't hurt Dagon's body. Oh my goodness, no. No.
Why, what happens if I hurt his body?
Alright. Dagon and Gabriel, it's like they're best friends, but it's like historians would look back at them and be like, oh, they were really good friends. That's like, no, there's something going on there.
So,
Got very
Okay.
interesting very quickly.
so everyone out of character. Are these people from a previous campaign that I'm not familiar with, or is
No.
this people part of
No.
backstories that they have written?
Backstories.
Okay.
He has my son and my kid held hostage, it sounds like. Their bodies and their souls.
Well, maybe they died in some other way, and then
Oh no. No, I know where they are. He's holding them captive in this weird gem of his.
Holding.
No. He's holding the souls in something. Something crystalline. That's about all I know. I don't know where.
Well, okay, apparently I got lost in this description of this. So it's a giant crystal.
Nope. Nope. It is a glass building with
I'm saying
smoke and mist on the inside.
he has my son's soul. This building is doing anything, just the souls.
Okay.
Sorry for confusing you.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure.
I don't even know what to do right now.
these.
Like, my mind is already racing.
All right, in character. Are we able to do in character stuff right now?
I don't know. What would you guys like to do? Do you want to have in character stuff at the moment, or do you want to not have in character stuff until next time? I'm fine either way. If we want to do in character stuff, then I will keep the stream going. But I don't want to get into any deep discussions or do too much role playing of what's actually going on. So there will be no NPC interaction. But if you guys want to save actual in character stuff for next time, then I'll stop the stream. But either way.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Is this Alexander Cullen or Cohen?
Cohen. I retconned the name. I originally had said that it was Cullen, but for association reasons, I changed it to Cohen.
So from the guy in Dragon Age?
No. So
Oh.
the name is this. Alexander Cohen. Even if you thought you heard differently in the past, I'm retconning all instances of the
What was the association?
Twilight.
The colons.
I guess I should be glad that I'm not
Yeah,
aware.
I didn't even think about that until someone had brought it up. Like I first heard the name, and someone's like, "Oh, like Twilight," and I was like, "No!" They're like, "Yeah, because vampires and Cohen." I was like, "Okay, never mind. It's Cohen. It's Cohen."
I notice either, but the new change is weirder for me because I actually have a friend named Alexander.
I know we had that
Yes.
whole conversation.
I know. Yes. It makes it weirder for me.
Don't worry, it won't get any better. The more that you get to know him. You, the character in the game, not your friend. Well, I can't speak for your friend.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Did you stop the stream?
I can. Do we need to? Or should we? Are we wanting to do some in-character stuff?
I'd like to
the
continue.
one who wanted.
Okay, I don't want to go too late tonight. We've tended to go a bit late, so I don't want to go too far and stuff.
Yeah, I say let's stop the stream so we can just talk amongst ourselves, especially because
okay.
I know I have a
Hold on.
couple friends that look at the campaign, and don't want to give out any spoilers to them.
Okay.
So
Well, one moment before that.
Yes.
Is there
go ahead.
anybody else that I recognize, or is it just the one person?
That is the only one that you see before you that you recognize.
Okay.
All right, to our viewers, thank you. Hope that you enjoyed. And just as a reminder, for next time, we are trying to do every time about halfway through-ish, we'll have an intermission. So if you have questions for any of the player or for any of the characters, toss that in. And trying to think. I guess, yeah, you can toss it in at any point in the stream, and I'll get to those character questions as we get to that point in the thing. So even if you can't stay for the whole time, drop the question and you can catch up on it later. But thank you so much. Have a nice night.